Hello and welcome to GCS Today here on Channel 21, the program that brings you news and information from Gaston County Schools. I'm Todd Higgins. On today's edition, we talk with Catawba Heights elementary teacher Victoria Freeman about her nomination for the North Carolina Beginning Teacher of the Year Award. Plus, we spend time with Rebekka Powers, who is the Central Office Administrator of the Year for Gaston County Schools. Joining me on GCS today is Victoria Freeman. She is a third grade teacher at Catawba Heights Elementary School and was one of 27 finalists for the North Carolina Beginning Teacher of the Year Award. And that award is presented by the North Carolina Center for the Advancement of Teaching in Cullowhee. So first, congratulations on being chosen as a nominee for that prestigious state-wide award. What does it mean to you to have been chosen as a finalist for that award?
Todd, I think it means for me that I have a sense of pride in education, and I was elated when Melissa Buchanan came from the county and presented me with the nomination. And Ms. Strapp and I, my principal, sat there and we were just overwhelmed with joy. It was an honor last year to be recognized as the Beginning Teacher of the Year as a finalist, but this program was specific to second-year teachers. And so to have Gaston County believing in me and choosing me to represent them at the regional level and hopefully at the state level was something that I will never take for granted. I remember the moment that I got the phone call that I was one of the regional winners, and the first person I wanted to tell was Melissa Buchanan, because she had worked so hard with me to prepare that portfolio. And we spent countless hours going over and, crossing our T's and dotting our I's to make sure it was ready. And as soon as I told her, she was, of course, overwhelmed and excited too. And it just makes it feel like this is a dream come true for me, to get up and to be able to teach every day. But to know that I have the county supporting me and believing in me every step of the way means more than I could ever say.
Now, you were at Cullowhee
I was.
For a week.
Yes.
Tell us about that week and what it was like, because it not only did it involve the awards program and the interviews for the awards, you had some time for professional development and to collaborate with other beginning teachers. What was that like? Tell us what that was like and what did you gain from that experience?
So it was something that I was not actually familiar with at the time. This is a brand new program. It's the first year that they have put this together. And from the moment I stepped in, there were 27 of us second-year teachers, which is not something that I get to collaborate with very often because I'm surrounded by veteran teachers, which is wonderful. And to have the opportunity to be with just second-year teachers was an eye-opening experience, to be able to learn from them, for us to collaborate. We got to take a sneak peek into each other's classrooms as part of our professional development, for us to take ideas and share what makes our classrooms work. We spent part of our days listening from either faculty at NCAT who have been in the classroom for several years. We got to learn from some of the previous North Carolina Teacher of the Year recipients about their experience and what made their classrooms work and why they felt that they were chosen and how they went about their daily activities. We learned from some of the best educators around, truly. And we got to collaborate on innovative ways to bring technology into our classroom, STEM projects, ways to enhance our teaching, to better ourselves for our students. And I gained a better perspective on what it means to go away and come back. And what I mean by that is, when I came back at the end of the week, I had much more knowledge from that experience that I could bring into my classroom to make sure that my students are getting exactly what they need. There was a hot topic of how do you differentiate your learning, which is a lot of what we talk about in our schools. And I got to take with me each child and hear from professionals about how we can meet the needs of this specific student. And just having the opportunity to talk to those people who you kind of put up on a pedestal because they were the Teacher of the Year. And they're taking the time out of their day to come and talk to the 27 of us to ensure that we are doing the best that we can as beginning teachers.
Let's go into your classroom. What is your classroom like, and what would we notice inside of your classroom?
So from the moment that you step in, you would see Charlie Brown and Snoopy and the Peanuts gang. It was something that I collected as a child. I was big into Charlie Brown and Snoopy, and I knew that I wanted my first classroom to feel welcoming and friendly from the moment the kids step through the door. And you'll see just that. They are very attached to Snoopy, and the Peanuts gang is all over the classroom walls. And it just gives them the feeling of being not only excited, but just ready to learn, because everybody's got a smile on their face across. I mean, you can see it all over the walls. And you would notice the family atmosphere. I'm a big advocate for we're all in this together. And NCAT really helped me give my students the understanding of what it means to have teamwork. I talk to them a lot about what it means to be a family and how we work together, and if one of us is falling down, we're all down. And I normally tell my kids, we've all got to get on the train or you're going to get left at the station. We don't want that to happen. So you'll notice that there's a lot of teamwork going on. If somebody truly is not understanding or needs help, there are 15 other kids ready to help them. And so I've built this community of learners, and the students have these partnerships so that they know that this truly is a community inside the school and outside as well. And I'll never forget coming back that Friday from NCAT, and every single one of my kids just ran up and gave me this big group hug and said, "It's okay, you didn't win. We're still so proud of you." And to have 18, 8, and 9-year-olds say that is incredible. To know that I've hopefully inspired them, but they've inspired me too. And so I think you would notice just the amount of love that's built into that classroom, because it goes beyond just standing up there and teaching the curriculum. While that is important, if they don't feel loved and safe, it's really hard to learn.
Well, we hear a lot about the importance of the relationships that students have with their classmates, with their teacher, and with others at the school. That those relationships, having those strong relationships, that is really what contributes to success. It's more than the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s.
Yes.
It takes more, and it takes relationships and collaboration and working together and being there for each other to really achieve that success. So it's good that you share that and that you feel like that's an important part of your classroom. Okay. Now, who or what influenced you to become a teacher? And this year we've been focused on telling our stories. So what is your story in education?
So from the time that I was little, I wanted to be an educator. I can remember being 3 and 4, playing school with stuffed animals lined up, teaching them, or my younger sister. And I've always had that passion to be in education. And I've always had the drive to want to be a teacher. I knew that was my end goal. But I had countless educators along the way that continued to light that fire for my passion. And I have to tell you that the 2 most influential people in my journey to become a teacher were my parents. And in our society, education is not our number 1 profession that we're looking for. And my parents never let that be discouraging for me. I always say, I'm not in education for the money. I'm in it because I want to see children learn, and I'm incredibly passionate about working with students, building those relationships. And from the moment I said I wanted to be a teacher, both of my parents were immediately on board and supported that every step of the way. And I had a professor in college that told me anybody can be a good teacher, but it takes a special person to be a great teacher, and she taught me how to go the extra mile. And I am a graduate of Gaston County Schools. So to be able to give back to the county that gave so much to me is the best part of my story. I graduated from UNC Greensboro, and there were many job opportunities in Greensboro, but there was only one county that I wanted to work for. So being able to come back to this county where I grew up and where so many people were influential in my educational experience, in the influencing of my becoming an educator, it's just worth so much to me. And I can't see myself being anywhere else.
Do you want to give a shout out to your high school that you graduated from?
I graduated from East Gaston High School.
Okay. Let's give them a little bit of attention.
That's right, absolutely.
Okay, let's brag about your school. You are at Catawba Heights, 3rd grade teacher. What is something you want people to know about Catawba Heights?
Well, Todd, you've probably heard us say it before at convocation. We are the best kept secret in Gaston County. It's sweetly nestled in the middle of a neighborhood in Belmont, and you truly could miss it if you weren't paying attention driving by. But it's not that it's in Belmont, it's not that it's Catawba Heights, it's the people that make up our school. It's the staff that from day one welcomed me in as a part of their family, that have cheered for me every step of the way, picked me up on the bad days, and encouraged me on the best of days. And I think that our students would tell you that too. It's the amount of love that you feel as soon as you walk through the door. It feels like you're home every single day. And I like to say there's not a dreary Monday if you get to be at Catawba Heights. I think that if anybody's looking for a school, that would be the best one. I could not have asked for a better placement for my first and now second year of teaching. It was high on my radar when I was going through the interviews, and I knew that everybody had raved about it's the best kept secret, it's the best kept secret. And I grew up in the Mount Holly area, so I wasn't quite familiar with Catawba Heights, but as soon as you pull up, you know that it's a place where you want to be. Everybody there is welcoming and excited, and everything around our school is very positive, so I feel like you can't really have a bad day if that's where you are.
It is a great school. A lot of good people over at Catawba Heights. Now, if you could give advice to a high school student or maybe a college student who is thinking about, I might go into education, what would you say to that person, to that student who's thinking about a career in education?
I would say yes, absolutely. Even if it's not been a passion like it was of mine from day one, if it's something that they're just now deciding that they want to do, I would say yes, absolutely. We need good teachers, and education is truly our future. We have the future of the world in our classrooms every single day. I would tell them that this is hands down the best career that you'll ever have, in my opinion. I'm a little biased, but it goes beyond, like you said, just the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s. When you get to see the child busting through your door on Monday morning to tell you that they won their soccer game, or they finally memorized their multiplication facts, it makes a world of difference. You can see in those children when the lights go off and when it finally clicks with somebody, and that's what makes it all worth it. And the best advice I can give is never give up on the power of education, because it's going to be the future of our world. I am fortunate to have a class of 18, and every day we are changing the world because they're learning something new. And there's not a moment that I take for granted that I get to be with them. So I would say yes, take that step and take that leap of faith and go into it, because you will not regret it.
And we want them to do exactly like you did. Graduate from us, go to college, get your degree, and come back to us.
That's right.
Come back to where you belong in Gaston County
home.
Schools. That's exactly right. Victoria Freeman, third grade teacher at Catawba Heights Elementary School. Congratulations on your nomination for the North Carolina Beginning Teacher of the Year Award, and it has been a pleasure having you here with us today on GCS Today.
Thank you.
You are watching GCS Today here on Channel 21. Stay with us. We will be right back.
And then from this angle, it all makes a star.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore.
Show up
And frustration, a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy, and giving up impossible.
And then we're gonna turn the lights and everybody look up.
I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought.
Finally won.
What's your reaction gonna be? Yeah, exactly.
And unconventional methods
Okay, what else?
common.
Little tadpoles, the frogs, the spiders, this is their world.
There's nothing.
And then they die. Go ahead, go, go, go.
I'm a teacher. I make more.
Joining me on GCS today is Rebekka Powers. She is the Chief Accountability Officer for Gaston County Schools and our current Central Office Administrator of the Year. So congratulations on that recognition.
Thank you.
And let's start. We say the Chief Accountability Officer. What is accountability? What does that mean?
So accountability for school systems truly is the glue that ties commitment to results, meaning policies and practice that our state Department of Public instruction has provided to us as a department. It's a way to hold schools and districts accountable for student learning. It's measures that they put in progress to ensure that our students are succeeding in the classroom.
So the accountability department involves data, testing. What are some of the other areas that
So
are
we're
involved?
really a small department, but we have 3 areas that we cover, and we cover that district-wide for all 55 of our schools. So we do have the testing department. They're responsible for all statewide testing, so they work with our test coordinators that are out in the schools. And then we have our Power School team. They handle all student data that is housed inside of our Power School system. And then we have data integration. So that's another team of ours that goes out into the schools and actually takes all of that information and puts it into action with our teachers.
So let's talk a little bit about accountability and the accountability department. How does your department have a direct influence on the schools?
So each department has their influence, and we intertwine as well within our own department. So our Power School team has a direct influence because they're housing all the information on our students, whether it's demographics, their grades, all of that information is right there. So we really work closely or have that direct impact on schools because those teachers are really working in those grade books, ensuring that it's calculating correctly. The parent portal, we even touch our community so parents can actually see their students' grades through that parent portal. Our testing, they have an impact to make sure our students are able to test in those settings that the state says that they're supposed to. And then our data integration probably has the biggest impact directly because they're actually using that student data to move achievement forward.
And one part of accountability is the strategic planning process. And I know that you led that effort in 2018 and resulted in the accreditation for Gaston County Schools. That's an important part of accountability as well.
Absolutely. So the strategic plan is really our vision for the whole entire district. So it sets the tone of where we want to go over the next 5 years with student achievement, as well as our safety and security, all of those 4 focus areas that we have as a district. So in 2018, our 5-year plan was due to reevaluate. So we worked together with all district level staff. Then we met with teachers, we met with students and parents to ask questions about our focus for the district and where they felt like we should be 5 years from now when we look back to see all the progress we've made. So that sets the tone for our schools and their individual school improvement plans, which we also work with them to develop to make sure it's aligned closely to our district plan.
Now, you mentioned your department involved with data, and I know that you have worked with our schools in a way to help connect the data to student progress and student achievement. What has been the response from the schools and from teachers with what you have been sharing with them?
So I really feel like our schools have bought into those processes and practices. We work really closely with academic services. Our department holds the data. We share the reports and things of that nature, teach our schools, our principals and our teachers how to read and understand that data. And our curriculum team comes in and shows them what to do with it, how to put it in action in the classroom. So I think they really have appreciated being able to have that data very quickly so that they can turn it around and impact our students and their learning. We've had a lot of progress in schools that we've worked really closely with, have had double-digit gains in student achievement just by taking simple data analysis practices, simplifying it so that they can put it into action very quickly for our teachers and our students.
I think also it provides some motivation because I think anybody likes to look, is like, okay, I am here and I want to get here, and how am I going to do that? That provides a sense of motivation.
It does, and I think once it provides that motivation that this is possible. We always go with the can-do attitude of this is not something that's impossible. We can get there, and we try to show them the roadway of how to get there with the numbers, and then our team of academic services comes in and shows them how to do it with the teaching. And I think once they see and they get to that mountaintop and they see that they could make it, and then being able to actually come back, I think it holds that value, it validates what they did, and so it motivates them for the next year to do even better. So that's really a neat thing for us to be able to stand back and cheer along with them as they go through that process.
And you mentioned that we've had schools that have experienced significant gains because
absolutely.
they are using the data and they're applying it and they are charting where they are and where they could be, and we've seen some very positive results from that.
Yes, and they're trailblazers in our district, and so other schools that are starting that process, it's a district-wide focus, and all of our schools do really well with it, but it's nice to have pilots and cohorts of things we've tried with them to see how they've progressed, and so other schools jump right in and move along too.
Let's talk about your education story. Maybe what influenced you, or maybe someone influenced you to get into education. And I also want you to talk a little bit about what does it mean to be the Central Office Administrator of the Year?
So for my education story, ever since I was a little girl, I loved school. And I would play school at home, in my bedroom at night, doing math problems and reading. I loved to read. But I had several of my teachers from kindergarten all the way through graduation who impacted me because they truly cared about my success. I went on to Mars Hill College. It's Mars Hill University now. And I actually decided to take a different route and go through the psychology. I got my Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. I knew I wanted to work with children and maybe families in some kind of scope. Once I graduated, I actually came to Gaston County and was offered a lateral entry position at Southwest Middle School as a exceptional children's teacher. And so once I got there, I knew that was my calling all along. Even if I try to run from it, that's really where I was meant to be. I've taught middle school English Language Arts at John Chavis Middle School and was an assistant principal at East Gaston High School. So I've always loved working with all age ranges of children and just wanting to make a small impact on their success so that they continue moving forward and able to be good citizens and to be productive in any angle they want to go. To be Central Administrator of the Year, I think that I represent our whole district staff. We're hardworking people and we want to support our schools. And so I think I'm just a representative of all the people that are here with me that are working hard to move schools forward. We try to support our principals and our teachers so that they can do their job. We try to put obstacles out the way and push them out of the way for them so that they continue moving forward. Because every day that I get up, I always remember it's all about the kids and their success. And so I think that is one responsibility, and two, to be that advocate for our schools. I sit on our senior leadership staff, so I get to share a lot of ideas and get to show what we do in the schools with other people that sit on that staff with us and be able to share with them how we're impacting schools, but it also helps with decision making for our students and our staff.
Well, congratulations on that honor. It is
Thank you.
well deserved to be our Central Office Administrator of the Year. Now, you have 3 children, and they are in the schools in Cherryville.
That's right.
You taught there. Your husband currently teaches and coaches at Cherryville High School. And I've always heard, I worked in Cherryville back in my newspaper days. I've always heard that the Cherryville schools are the best kept secret in Gaston County.
They are.
Why,
They are.
Why do you think people say that?
I think people say that when I moved to Cherryville, I fell in love with the town. I grew up in a small town, so that's where I wanted to raise my children. I think we're the best kept secret because we are a small, tight-knit community. We help each other out. If one is in need, we really do come rushing to the rescue to help. I also think with being a small community, a lot of our teachers are people who live in that community. So we go to church together. You'll see each other shopping out in the community together. And so they truly have a deep-rooted want that our students to see them succeed. And I think that is the really most positive thing for our district or our town. I think too, that they really hold high expectations for our students, and it begins at Cherryville Elementary School and it follows them all the way to the high school, and truly the embedded of what is an Ironman. And so it starts from kindergarten all the way through of what it means to be an Ironman, and that kind of is a vibration through the whole entire town. So I think it's really neat. We're also deep rooted in tradition. And so not necessarily being from there, but joining in to that town for 14 years now, it's really neat to watch these traditions continue. And so you see families with multiple generations coming through homecoming, or whether it's the Cherryville New Year shooters, whatever it is, sports, everything, yes. And so it's just a deep roots town. And so I think it goes through our schools as well. And so our kids embody that, and they really want to be airmen when they get older. So I think that makes us the best kept secret.
There's a sign at the elementary school that says, "Through these doors walks future Ironman."
They are, and so all three of my boys actually walk into school on the first day of kindergarten, and I've taken a picture of them going through that sign, because even holding on to that memory, and holding on to that for when they graduate, to see this is where it all started. And we have wonderful principals in those schools. We have wonderful teachers and staff, cafeteria workers, custodians. My children with their dad are coaching and teaching at the high school. They know everyone by first name. And so it's really interesting for them to see my children grow up with us. And so they're invested into their success, not just their parents. And I think that's really neat.
And I think that is something that we take great pride in, knowing that we have neighborhood schools, and that in communities all across Gaston County, you have those tight-knit communities, those teachers that have grown up in those communities, and now they're teaching there, and their children are in school there. So I think that that is something very special across Gaston County, is this concept of neighborhood schools and what they mean to each community. I think that's very important.
Very true.
Okay, what inspires you and keeps you motivated to continue to do good work for our schools?
So I think what inspires me is just the success that we've had as a district, and how I play just a very small part in that, and my team too, and how we work really hard. They inspire me to come in every day and be my best. I have a wonderful team, and they work really hard for our schools, but also I love being able to watch principals and grow along with them. A lot of them inspire me to be better. They show me how to be a better leader. I've enjoyed working with the teachers, because they challenge us and stretch us to think differently about how we share our information and data with them to help our students. And two, I just love working with children. I love seeing how the work we're doing is impacting them, first and foremost. And two, it keeps me motivated. Gaston County Schools is a great place to work. It's a great place to live, and we have a lot of good people here who really have a genuine interest in our students. And so I think that's what motivates me. I have fun every day, and I enjoy coming to work. It's not work, it's a career, and I really enjoy being here, and hope to continue that progress through.
Rebekka Powers, our Chief Accountability Officer and our Central Office Administrator of the Year. Thanks so much for being with us today on GCS Today.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching GCS Today here on Channel 21. Before we go, we want to give a shout out to the students who participated in the Gaston Regional Science and Engineering Fair at the Schill Museum. The students did an awesome job presenting their projects and talking about their scientific research. And we want to congratulate all of the winners and wish them good luck as they go on to compete at the regional and state science fairs. Also, we encourage you to download the Gaston County Schools mobile app to your device. It's free in the Apple and Google online stores, and it's your one-stop source for news and information about our schools. And be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and watch us on YouTube and right here on Channel 21. I'm Todd Higgins for GCS Today. We look forward to seeing you next time.